Welcome, welcome one and all. Winter Wizard here. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how I like to make Living Dead Servitors. Joining me today, whoever you are, and welcome to this little video of mine where I'm going to be showing you how I like to make Living Dead Servitors. It's cold and lonely here in Winter Wizard's Frozen Fortress, but it's a beautiful rainy day out there. I've got a nice cup of tea over there, and I'm joined as always by my friend and co-host, Norwegian Troll, Dimmu, so this is going to be nice. So if you weren't already aware, well, I have an Adeptus Mechanicus army. They're called Forged Phobos, the Cult of Fear. They're of a sort of more clandestine, radical, sort of dark sort of nature about them. They're not heretics, just a little bit dark and mischievous in their own ways. And when I was putting the army together, I knew that I wanted to try out some tactics using some servitors, but I'm not a fan of the I think they're resin or fine or maybe even metal. I'm not sure, but the servitor models are on the Games Workshop website. I'm not a fan of those particularly, and I wanted to do something a bit more unique. Do something a bit more befitting of the Cult of Fear, and I think I've achieved that here. So what I'm going to do first, I will zoom in, give you a good look at the finished result here. But we've also got all the pieces here, all the pieces you'll need to make one of these. So I'll show you what they look like first, but then we're going to put one together, and you'll get to see all the different steps of how that goes, and we'll see what you think from there. But we'll zoom in first, give you a good look at this. So here we are then, this is what they look like. Old Living Dead Servitors. I call them that because the body parts and the arms and stuff, I'll explain more about this in a moment, but they come from a zombie kit, so that's why I call them Living Dead. I'm really pleased with them actually. I think it's a really simple little conversion. Simple but effective. I think they're really cool. They've got a real nice sort of grim dark sort of feel about them. These sort of lifeless, undead, sort of lobotomized husks shambling about, doing the bidding of the Omnissiah. A couple of ladies here. You know, we don't discriminate in the Mechanicum. The Servo Arms there. It's all crooked and sort of creepy looking arm. I really love the poses as well, and the sort of these kind of you know, these waltzing zombie poses. Really cool. So let me take one of these and I'll show you where, and I'll explain where all the different parts came from. And so we've got the bodies here, the bodies and the arms, and this came from the sprue here. This is, in actual fact, a Fireforge Games Living Dead Peasants. Living Dead Peasants. So Fireforge Games. It's a really nice box actually. The sculpting on this is really lovely. They're kind of just simplistic but really elegant at the same time. They're really nice, and they come with all these different parts. You know, you've got your body and your legs, all these different options for arms and heads. If you're looking for a box of zombies or something, I think it's a really good place to start actually. It's a really lovely box, and they've got some really cool stuff, Fireforge Games. So definitely go and check them out for any of your, if you're interested in using the models for something, or any conversions or proxy. Fireforge Games, check them out. But then after that, we've got the Servo Arm here, and I've got sort of the top shoulder of one of the arms from the Living Dead Peasants box. Sort of clipped it off and stuck this thing here. And it looks like this when you get it off the sprue. See, it's like a Servo Arm type thing. It's from the Cataphron Battle Servitors box, the Adeptus Mechanicus Cataphron Battle Servitors, the Breachers, the Destroyers. you find this little piece in there. So I bought a load of those boxes just because I wanted some breeches anyway, but you could probably track down some of the bits from eBay or get yourself some of those, or find something else to use, but I liked this one. Thought it did the job nicely. There's a nice sort of little flat bit there, so I clipped that bit off, just use that section. There's a nice sort of rounded flat bit there that will stick onto the arm nicely, as you can see there. So that's the servo arm. And then the heads. So the heads, like so. And this just came from the Scutari box, the Scutari Rangers, Scutari Vanguard. Little head there. There's quite a few options actually. So, some more here. See if I can show you these. There's one there, slightly different. Another one here. And these heads are really cool, and they were just included in the range of the Vanguard box. I quite liked this one. Yeah, but and these heads are really cool. You could use them for all sorts really. If you've got some like Chaos Cultists or Trader Guard, maybe they're followers of something like the Iron Warriors, or maybe you've got Servitors for your Iron Hands army. Some really cool head options in here. But yeah, that's where the heads. So the Scutari Rangers, Scutari Vanguard. And then the only other thing was to get some of these little bases. Is this a 25, 28mm? I always forget which one it is. Well, there we go. Got some of those from eBay, and I think I had some spare just lying around anyway. And those are all the pieces that you need. So we'll zoom out now, and I'll take this step by step, and I'll actually assemble one for you. So I've got a few tools might need. Got a file here, a nice sharp hobby knife, and some clippers, some plastic glue, and a bit of tissue maybe if you need it. Well, that should be everything. So I've got our pieces here, and to clean these up I'm just going to use the knife just to get all the bits off. Bottom of the feet, where the sprue was touching. Any mould lines, I tend to actually use the blade of the knife just to work those away. There's not actually loads on this model. They really are nice. They really are nice, these sculpts. There's just, as I said, there's just a certain simplicity but elegance to them. They're really nice indeed. That's the body, and I'll do the same on the arms, and then we'll move on. So we've cleaned these up a bit, and the next thing we're going to do, we're going to decide which arm we want to be the servo arm. I've gone for the right hand side, and we're going to clip this length of the arm off. And where we're going to do that, if you take the top as the shoulder and the elbow there, I'm going to clip about halfway in the middle of that. If you look at the sort of folds of fabric, you might see somewhere that looks sort of sensible to do it, sort of at this crease here. Sort of use your discretion. And I'm going to clip it off round about there, like so. So I'm just going to do that. And it leaves you this like sort of shoulder and a bit of arm piece there. So we're going to fix that onto the arm. Onto the body rather. So we've got a bit of plastic glue here, just a blob. If you use these, I would always say to always give it a squeeze once you've used it, just to push any bits of glue out, get the air out. It does help to stop them blocking. I'm just going to apply that, just to stick that on, like so. Just make sure you're happy with it, the position. Wipe off a bit of that excess glue. And yes, we'll leave it at that. We'll let that dry, we'll stick the other arm on, this one, and then we'll work on the servo arm. So I've stuck the other arm on there, and that's just going to dry. Well, I'm not sure why I didn't do this. What I normally do is actually I stick the body on the base first, and that gives you something to hold and to work with. So we'll do that. What I normally do with the base is get a file, and I just scrape a bit of the top away. And I just find that if you scrape a sort of the top layer of plastic away, you get that nice rough layer beneath it. And when you apply the plastic glue, it tends to stick really quickly and really well, actually. Not necessary, just I just think it helps, so I tend to do it. We're going to carefully, while that arm is still drying, plonk this guy on the base. Just put a little bit of glue on his feet, there and there, like so. And we'll work on something else while that's drying. So we take the piece for the servo arm here. What we're going to do, we're going to clip this off. You've got the sort of length of the arm. It comes into a sort of, there's like a round sort of disc join there. So we're going to clip it just on this side of the join. So we're going to keep that disc just like so. Clip that off. There we go. And that join, that disc is going to be a nice little join. It's going to sit nice and flat on the arm. So we'll clean that up with the knife. Get that nice and smooth. And then I've just cleaned it up again, just with the knife. Any little bits of sprue that are still there, or mold lines, just scraping them off. Well, that's looking good. So once this is all fully dry, then we'll stick this together. So the body's now dry enough to work with, if we just be a little bit careful. And we've got, what you do find actually is this cylinder disc sort of bit here turns out to be a really good fit. It's pretty much the exact size that you need. And the beauty about plastic glue is that it molds it, sort of melts the two pieces and forms them together. It's going to look nice when it's done. So what we'll do, we'll stick a little bit of glue on there. Yeah, you'll see it's going to join those together really nicely. We just hold that in place where you want it to be, while it's sort of finding its grip. There we are, so you can see that there. Just going to manipulate it just a little bit, be nice and careful. But yeah, it's pretty much, it's just about an exact fit, really. So it works perfectly. There we go. And just let that dry. Nice and fully. Let that set. And then we can start thinking about putting a head on this thing. So the arm is drying. Now we're going to think about this head for a second. So this has got a sort of round top on the neck there, and so is the head. A round sort of bottom there. So what we're going to do, we're going to slice that off there, make that nice and flat, right up to the head. And we'll be able to take just a little bit of that off top, and they'll sit onto each other nicely. So first thing is we can take our clippers, and we can just clip that ball off the bottom there. Like that, and we've got a nice flat piece here which we can just clean up with a knife or a file, whatever you prefer. Doesn't need to be, as long as it's relatively flat, that's and smooth, that's fine. And if we take the body, we're going to clip the neck around about level with the shoulders. It's around about there, I'd say. Let's do that. Like so. And then when that sits on top, it should be nice. Yeah, so I just took the knife and I scraped just a little bit more of that off. Don't need much on there at all, just a little bit. And then when that sits on, that should be nice. So we'll put a little glue on there. As long as the two pieces are nice and flat, it should cling nicely and sit nicely as well. And we'll put that on like so, just twizzle it around, make sure you're happy with it. Make sure it's looking good. I'm going to go sort of looking that direction, I think. Well, there we go then. That's it, it's drying and setting nicely. And that's it, nothing really to it. It's really simple little conversion. You just need the Living Dead peasants from WARGAMES. Really nice sculpts. And then got those heads out of the Skitarii Rangers Vanguard boxes. I think most Adeptus Mechanicus armies will probably include some Rangers or some Vanguard at some point, so you should find yourself getting hold of those pretty easily. And from the Cataphren Breachers, Destroyers, the Battle Servitors box, found these little like Servo Arm bits in there. So you can get a hold of them that way, or maybe track them down on eBay. But well, that's it. Simple, but personally I think very effective. And that's how you make Living Dead Servitors for Forge Phobos, the Cult of Fear. And there we have it then, and that's another episode of Cult of Fear Conversions, where in this episode I showed you how to make Living Dead Servitors. If you've enjoyed the video today, if you enjoy my work, then a like and a comment would be very, very much appreciated. And if you'd like to see more of what goes on here inside the Frozen Fortress, then perhaps you'll also consider becoming a subscriber. And once again, whoever you are, thank you very, very much for joining me today. I'm Winter Wizard, that's Dimmu, and for now, keep it frosty.